So, one of the questions I'm sure a lot of people have been asking, or still kind of ask themselves about my videos and how I release them or how I do them, especially on camera or through recordings courtesy of my digital voice microphone or my Blue Ice microphone on my computer, is why don't I go with a script? Why do I just, as I say sometimes, go unscripted off the top of my head, or unscripted, uncut, and on the fly? I think the reason being is because, honestly, and I've mentioned this in similar kind of manners before, it's more natural. It's more natural for me to do. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, just turn on the light there, but when you think about it, it's more natural for a lot of us to do that kind of thing, to, just say what's on our mind and not have to worry about any bullet points or what we wrote down and making sure we correctly say what we said originally in the written version and all that. It just feels more easier and more natural to do things. Now look, I'm not saying that, going off something that you've written previously is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I think it's pretty good. There are times, I'll be honest, there are times that I've written down things, and a lot of you guys have been following my channel for over 12 years, going to be 13 years this June. For a lot of you that have been following that, you know that there have been times where I've actually read on camera or read while doing an audio recording stuff that I've typed up and posted at places like DeviantArt or several fan sites, several group sites on Facebook, or whatever the case may be. And I'll admit it does work. It does help out, but to me, I've always found doing it unscripted, just saying whatever comes to your mind, whatever's off the top of your head. I just feel it's more easier for me to go with, to basically just go with the flow, if you know what I mean. And there's no doubt that I'm not the only one. There are several people that I follow, I subscribe to here on YouTube, that do the same thing, especially when they do live streams. You can't avoid doing something, on a live stream and try to edit it out when you're doing it live. You can't do that unless you decide to upload an edited version of that video that you did live, like a playthrough or whatever, and you're on camera. And then that's the only way you're going to be able to kind of have more of a, I guess you could say, more natural kind of thing, a more scripted kind of environment, if you will. But to me, like I said, just being unscripted and saying whatever comes to my mind at times is easier. And like I said, you can't really avoid, a lot of interruptions or stuff when you go live, because live is as unscripted as you're going to get. And that's the honest truth. There are times when Angry Joe, Joe Vargas of the Angry Joe Show, Alex Hicks of Just Alex Central, formerly Deluxe Man. There are several times, not many times, that they will do a live stream, and sometimes things go uninterrupted. Some things go not according to plan, is what I should say. Some things, happen because, they're live, and you can't, like I say, edit out, what's going on live. Why are you doing it live? You can't just say, oh, we're going to pause the live stream. Beep. Okay, we're back. You can't really do that. You could. There are ways of doing that, there's no doubt. But still, most of the time, doing a live stream is probably the best example of going, unscripted and, and on the fly, and, just saying what comes to mind at the time. And to me, like I said, it's just more natural. It's just more natural. And again, like I said, I have nothing against, doing something that you're going off something you've written, because I've done it too, but again, it just feels more natural. Speaking of Angry Joe, I watched his first video he's going to release this week, the second of his 3 top 10 list, or the second of 4, I'm guessing, because he has to do a top 10 of upcoming games for 2021, I'm assuming. But I was watching his 10 most disappointing list, and he did this. He was like standing like where I'm at, with a green screen and everything, and then he did this. You know, he basically adjusted the thing like that, and he didn't edit it out. You know, he could probably go back and edit it if he wants to, but, you know, he had to keep going. That right there was an unscripted improvisation because he had to adjust something. And again, it shows you that even people like Joe Vargas, James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, Louis Lovehog, Linkara, JonTron, you know, they all sometimes have to go through improvisation. I mean, I was watching one of the California Games reviews by JonTron, and I don't know if this was scripted or unscripted, but he's just laying back like, you know, screw it, you know, whatever. You know, it's just a show, whatever. Oh, what is this? And he pulls down one of the lights that he uses for his video, for his setup. You know, the showings, like these lights, kind of on the same, not the same level of brightness, but basically a little more brighter. You know, he pulls it down, so he's like, see, this is an effing light, you know, whatever. And again, I don't know if that was scripted or unscripted, and he just said, I'm just going to keep it in there and just, you know, improvise. You know, maybe that's what he did. But again, it shows you that sometimes improvisation, improvisation, if you will, is probably the best area to go, best direction to go in. When you improvise, you know, improvisation is probably the best solution sometimes. And it goes hand in hand with being unscripted. Because again, it's just something natural. You just want to feel free. You just want to be a natural, you know, you want to be, but you want to just do things natural, things that just, you know, come to mind. You just want to say them and not worry, like I said earlier, about bullet points or anything like that. So, you know, so for someone like me, whether it's an on-camera thing like what I'm doing here, audio recording, podcast, whatever, you know, to me, going unscripted is the best solution and the best direction for me right now. Like I said earlier, yes, I have done, you know, videos where I read off what I've typed up, and it works, and it's great. But to me, when you go unscripted and you just say what's on your mind, whether or not you have a knowledge of what's going on or you don't, it's better. It feels more real. Basically, to me, it feels more real. It feels more legit, more real, you know, because you're basically letting people know how you feel or what you know about something without worrying about what you're going to say, because you wrote it down somewhere and it has to be said a certain way. You're just going to say it and be done with it. So, to me, going unscripted is probably the best direction for me and a lot of people. Again, nothing against, you know, having to go off something you wrote, bullet point, script, or whatever, but to me, being unscripted is the best solution. I mean, there is one person I'm following, it's called Orange Studios or something like that, and he recently uploaded a video where he gave his unscripted opinions on the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. And he was using his OC to help him do that. So again, even that individual, even Orange Studios, shows that being unscripted is probably the best direction to go in. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, anyway though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and say that, just talk about that, give you my thoughts and, you know, on why I go unscripted and kind of let you guys, you know, in on what I'm doing. So, till next time, God bless, take care. I got to answer the phone right now, and I'll talk to y'all later.